Hello guys, you're welcome to today's video. We are going to talk about triangular arbitrage on Bybit, how it works. And I think this is my first triangular arbitrage on Bybit video. I'm not sure I've made a dedicated video on Bybit triangular arbitrage. I'm not sure. If you don't have a Bybit account, try to register on Bybit using the link in this video's description below. Okay, so let me show you how it works because many of you have been asking me how to do triangular arbitrage on Bybit because I've been using Binance and some other exchanges, but most especially Binance in my previous videos. So I'll start using Bybit from now on with other exchanges as well. Triangular arbitrage, for those of us that don't know, that involves trading across 3 different coins. You buy the first coin, or maybe if you have the first coin already, you now use that first coin you have to buy another coin, which is the second coin. Then use this one to buy this one. Then use this one to buy the first one back, and that completes a full triangle. That makes it triangular arbitrage. There are 2 types of triangular arbitrage. We have intra-triangular arbitrage and inter-triangular arbitrage. I'm not sure I've ever mentioned this in any of my videos, but I will do a dedicated video on this, all right? So intra-triangular arbitrage involves buying all these coins on one particular exchange. Okay, that is performing the full triangular arbitrage on one exchange. For example, since we want to discuss about Bybit today, everything will be done on Bybit. Okay, but in terms of inter-triangular arbitrage, I think I have such video. Yes, I have a video on a Air Bank and something like that. And that video is on inter-triangular arbitrage between L Bank and one of that, I think on a Binance or so. If I get the video, I'll just put the link in this video description. But I will still do a dedicated video on inter-triangular arbitrage and intra-triangular arbitrage. But today we're talking about intra-triangular arbitrage. That is performing all the triangular arbitrage on one exchange, because many people think triangular arbitrage must be on one particular exchange from beginning to end. No, there are sometimes we move them out, then bring them back and complete the full triangle. Okay, but don't worry, we are going to do all those things in my subsequent videos. So just ensure that you subscribe so that you don't miss any of my subsequent videos. Okay, I know I've not been active for some time, but currently now I am active. Okay, so let's go over to Bybit. I open my Bybit account. What's up? Wait, let me open it again. This is my Bybit account. We have to go over to this trade option. Today we are using spot trade. There are some arbitrage opportunities you use convert option to do, but we are just using spot option for today. Maybe in my subsequent videos we'll use convert, maybe futures and other options here. So just ensure that you subscribe and don't miss any of my subsequent videos. Okay, so you go over to this option here so that we can select the pair we want to trade for today. For me, I prefer starting out with stable coins. Yes, that is my own preference. I just like it. I prefer starting out with USDT, although there are sometimes I can use other coins, but I just prefer starting out my arbitrage with USDT. And that's because you can easily buy USDT or get USDT, maybe from P2P or other places. I'm not saying you cannot swap USDT for other coins and still use them. No, you can still use that, but I prefer starting out with USDT, although I sometimes do start out with other coins. Okay, but today we are starting with USDT. So let's just perform a simulation. You look for, let's say, Ethereum USDT, for example. Should we use BNB? Okay, let's use Ethereum for today. Maybe in my next video, I'll use BNB or any other coin. All right, this is Ethereum USDT. We are going to buy Ethereum using USDT, but you cannot do this if you don't have USDT. You can easily get USDT on a P2P, or you can transfer from your other exchanges. Okay, but that is not even the main thing. The main thing is understanding how these things work. And I want you to have this in mind. Arbitrage is risky. In fact, arbitrage is very risky. Yes, I added very because when I teach arbitrage on video here, it may look very simple, but the truth is there is what we call taker fee and we have maker fee. These fees, you may not see them in the video. That is just the fact. You may not see them in the video until you start performing the real trade. But you only understand these things if you get how the flow works. Okay. So these hidden fees, whether you are using market order or limit order, they will certainly charge you some amount based on the particular coin you are trading. They will charge you. That is just the fact. They will charge you. But the exact amount they charge is what we don't know. You understand? Although there are sometimes you can predict, but there are most times you may not predict the exact amount they will charge you. Okay, so please try to understand how these things work. Okay, so we are currently in this buy section and we are using the limit order. All right. And let's assume I want to buy 1,000 USDT worth of Ethereum. So I now come here and put 1,000 under USDT. I type 1,000. Make sure that you are in the buy section. All right. So I copy this quantity of Ethereum we will get with 1,000 USDT. So the next thing is you now go over here and select the next coin we are going to use, which is also a stable coin. We are going to use, let me just type Ethereum and know the other coin we will use. Okay, wow, even Ethereum USDE is cheaper than, wow. Okay, that will be for another video, okay? So Ethereum, let's use DAI, and here we have it. And for the reason why I chose Ethereum DAI, this is because I noticed that Ethereum is cheaper with USDT and higher with DAI. And that means I can easily buy it using USDT and sell it where it is higher, which is DAI. But there are sometimes it may be cheaper using DAI and higher using USDT. It's not left for you to know where to buy and where to sell. But currently, based on the current rates, it is cheaper using USDT. And the question is, how will you know the lower one, that is the rate that is lower, and the higher one, so that you will know where to buy and where to sell without having to perform all those demo trades to determine that? Okay, the simple way you can know that, or let me say the fastest way you can know that, is when you go over here, you can just type in Ethereum USDT or just Ethereum. Okay, once you type Ethereum, they will bring out all the coins paired with this Ethereum. So you notice that Ethereum USDT is lower in price compared to Ethereum DAI. So without even performing any demo trade, this is how you can easily know where to buy and where to sell. But even at that, you still need to perform demo trade to confirm. Okay, because like I keep saying, arbitrage is risky. You don't just guess. Okay. So you need to find out the truth behind everything and to confirm. Then another question you may ask is, how can I find arbitrage opportunities like this? Then we are going to answer that at the end of the video. So after we've bought Ethereum using USDT, you now come over here. You come over here and go over to the sell option, because we are now selling Ethereum for DAI. All right. So I've already copied the quantity of Ethereum we will get from Ethereum USDT. So I will now come over here and paste it here. I will paste it. So when I paste it, you will see that we'll be getting 1,009 point something DAI. Okay. That means, don't forget that we started this with 1,000 USDT. There are some times based on the rates, you'll be getting around 1,030. And there are some times you'll be getting around 1,050. It all depends on the rates. But I will tell you one truth behind this. Please don't rush to skip this video and start. Do not rush to skip. Watch to the end, because I will reveal one secret to you. Let me tell you why I said you shouldn't use market order for this trade. Okay, that is currently because anything can happen in few minutes or in few hours or few days from now. And even if you use market order, it will be nice. Okay, but currently, based on what I'm seeing here right now, if you use market order, they will charge you high. Of course, it will feel, but they will charge you high. Okay, but the only way you will not lose your money like that is because what they may charge might be your profits. So you now have your capital back. Maybe they just slash small amount from the capital. Okay. But there are sometimes you will still be at a profit. But it all depends on the liquidity and volatility of the market. Before you consider market order, think of liquidity, volatility, slippage. Okay, these are the things you need to understand. And I think, yes, I have a video where I explain it, but I will still do more videos on that. But I have a video on liquidity, volatility, slippage, and some other things. I'll attach the link of the video in this video's description. Okay. So currently now, this market has low volatility and low liquidity. That is just the fact here. Okay. So if you use the market order here, Bybit will charge you high. You will pay high fees. But the only way it will not affect you that much is because what they will charge will be more of your profits. Yes, more of your profit, then small of your capital. That's just it. But there are sometimes, if based on the rates, if the profit is very high, okay, even if they remove their own fees, you will still be at a profit, yes. But assuming the market is volatile, and the liquidity is very nice, even if you use market order, you will not feel it. Yes, you will not feel it at all. It's just like this market, Ethereum USDT, BTC USDT, those markets is very nice. Okay, there is volatility and there is liquidity, and some other markets too. So even if you use market order, you will not feel it that much. That just is. Even if they charge you, the fees will not be that high compared to markets that doesn't have volatility, or maybe has low volatility or low liquidity. This is one truth you need to save in your memory whenever you're performing any triangular arbitrage. Liquidity and volatility also affects limit order as well. Okay, because imagine a market whereby you don't have anyone to sell to or anyone that will buy your coin. Imagine what that looks like. Okay, it will be a kind of very dull market. So that's why sometimes when you place a limit order, it might even take days, some minutes, some hours. There are sometimes it feels instantly. Although everything also depends on the rate you set. Okay, the rate you set is also another factor to how fast or how slow your order feels. If we buy this DAI with Ethereum, we'll be getting this. Let me now copy the quantity of DAI we will get if we are to sell Ethereum for that. You now go over to this option now. We've bought DAI with Ethereum. You now go over here. You now type in DAI USD. You can see that the rate of DAI and USDT is almost the same because they are all stable coins. Since DAI is the base currency and USDT is the host currency, and we want to get the host currency, which is USDT. I believe we understand this, all right? We are going to use the sell order. You go over to sell because we are selling DAI for USDT. We are not buying DAI. Under here, even though these are stable coins, although you can easily use market order here because they are both stable coins, but I still prefer using limit order, but market order can still work. All right. You come over here and paste that amount of DAI we have. So let me paste it. With 1009.28 DAI, we'll be getting around 1008.87 something USDT. Based on the current rates, there are sometimes you will get almost the exact amount if the rate is around 0.999 or even 1, okay, because they are both stable coins. It can happen. So this is how it works. We've gotten around 8 USDT with 1000 USDT. Then talking about the risk involved in this, yes, I mentioned risk. And that's something you need to understand about these things. The risk involved is mostly under here, Ethereum DAI. Let me show you this. Ethereum DAI. Sorry, I don't know why I keep making this mistake. Ethereum DAI. This is where you meet the real risk here. So this is where the problem lies. If you try to use market order for this, I'm telling you, you will lose a lot of money. That's just a fact. Based on the current rate, anything can happen tomorrow, or maybe even in few minutes or few hours from now. But currently now, if you use the market order, you will lose a lot with this method. That is just a fact. Okay. And if you look here, you will see some of the reasons, but I'm not going to explain these reasons now. I have a video where I discuss about volatility, liquidity, and some other things you need to know, slippage, and some other things you need to know about arbitrage. I will attach the link to that video in this video description, okay, so that you watch it and understand what I'm talking about. But that doesn't mean I will not explain it in my subsequent videos. I will also review some things about this in my subsequent videos, but just know that where you encounter issue with this trade is under here. That's just it. So don't even try to use market order, and do not use your real money until you confirm that everything is profitable. Okay, that is why if you are new to cryptocurrency, I don't really suggest, because I don't give people advice. I am not a financial advisor, so I don't suggest people rushing into crypto arbitrage. Okay, if you don't know how to use like Bybit, Binance, at least to some extent, you must have used it maybe 1 or 2 times, maybe 5 to 6 times, you understand? Even if it's only P2P, you must have used it to perform some transactions. I'm not saying that you must have used it for future trading, no, but at least you must have used it for several times before you rush into arbitrage, especially triangular arbitrage. Yes, that involves patience, because sometimes you may place trade, it will not even feel even in days. Yes, and if you're not patient enough, you will lose your money. So this is how it works, and that is how you can perform triangular arbitrage on Bybit. There are some coins we can also use, but I will review them in my subsequent videos. You've seen how the profit works. We bought USDT. With USDT, we bought Ethereum. With Ethereum, we bought DAI. And with DAI, we bought USDT back. And that's how we made this profit. And don't forget that, like I said before, there are some times when you try this out, you'll be seeing profit of like 30, 20 or more or less. Then there are some times you also try this cycle out and it will not be profitable. Let me explain what my battery. Let me explain what I mean by that. If you try USDT, Ethereum, DAI, USDT, and it is not profitable, try it this way again. Try USDT, DAI, Ethereum, and back to USDT. You understand? Yes. Just try it that way. Then if you are still not profitable at that, you can try try it out, but don't start with Ethereum. No, I don't suggest starting with Ethereum unless it works for you, okay? Because I am just here to explain how these principles and how triangular arbitrage on Bybit works. Is now left for you to do more research on that and determines what works best for you. And we all know that in arbitrage, the higher the capital, the higher the profit. And if the opportunity is still available, you can also do that again and again and again for more profit, if and only if the opportunity is still available. But if it is not available, you can also try out other coins for more arbitrage opportunities. There are several ways you can spot profitable coins for triangular arbitrage or crypto arbitrage involving different exchanges or one exchange, anyone you want. There are several ways you can spot them out, and I have many methods and many platforms for that, okay? I've already released some videos on that. That is videos on how to spot profitable coins for arbitrage. I have released some videos on that, which you can find in my video list or check out this video's description. But I will also release more videos because I have many platforms, many tools where you can spot profitable coins for either triangular arbitrage or other types of arbitrage, be it CEX or DEX. I still remain my humble self, Marinology. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that I don't miss any of my subsequent videos. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.